An hour.
Okay.
Okay, guys, welcome today to another episode of Business Migration. This time around, we're focusing on the UK, and we have immigration attorney. She's been practicing for over a decade now in the UK, and so she's going to be breaking it down for us. How can you open a business here in the UK, and what type of business registration gives you residency or pathway to citizenship here in the UK. Please note that we're not focusing on work permit or things as such. I'm an entrepreneur and I love to focus on my field. So what led to this was a lot of my friends kept asking questions. You have a business here, you have business in the UK, in the US, and different parts of the world. What's the strategy? How are you able to do it? So I said, you know what? It's good to start like a mentorship, a consultancy of some sort, and partnering with different lawyers to start giving good counsel. We've seen our people make terrible mistakes, just because they are not well guided, they are not well counseled, and we hope that this event, and this is not the only one, it's going to be series, and we're taking next time we're probably going to do US and then do Dubai, then do Nigeria. I want to do it every month, just educating people. How can you? And then some of you now want to go forward with it. You can now sign up for a consultation session. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together wherever you're watching us from. Celebrate Yetunde Kuti Alabi. I'm just saying the Kuti for the first time. Welcome, by the way.
Hello.
I'm saying the Kuti for this first time. What's going on here?
Oh, because I logged in through
You said?
Facebook. I logged in through my Facebook account.
You got what?
I logged in through the Facebook account. And Kuti is the maiden name.
Yeah, but so the Kuti is your surname or your husband's name?
No, the Kuti is my father's name. It's my
Is
maiden
your
name,
father's
my
so
father's
you are
name.
from the Kuti Anikulapo Kuti family or
No,
different?
no, my Kuti is from Ikorodu.
Oh, yours is different.
My Kuti is from
Uh,
Ikorodu. Because I logged in with the Facebook account, because I had the option of logging in through the YouTube or the Facebook account. So I just use the YouTube, I mean the Facebook because it's already on my phone.
Okay, beautiful. So, first of all, let's get started today, and thank you for coming. I really appreciate this. What are the common mistakes before we even get into solutions that you just have noticed about people who are trying to migrate to the UK? What are the common mistakes that you've noticed that shouldn't even be?
Well, excuse me. The common mistakes people migrating to the UK make is before you migrate to another country, you need to ask yourself the first question: what am I going to do? And then, secondly, which kind of work do I want to do? And how do I legally live in this country? Which brings us to the point of immigration. So, what you then need to do is to get yourself an immigration solicitor that is versed in the areas of law in immigration, because a lot of people say, oh, I do immigration, I know what I'm doing. Or some people actually read it up on themselves, and then they now go on the internet, go on the Home Office website, and read up every requirement they think they need. And then they make the application, forgetting that for every rule or everything you see on the Home Office website, they have guidance notes. And most of the time, it is the guidance notes that actually helps you to get the papers and the necessary documents you need to make the applications. The Home Office website just gives you the general overview of what the law is. or you can apply as a skilled worker, and you just need to have a certificate of sponsor, and that's all you need. But most of the time, the guidance notes tells you who can give you the certificate, the qualification of the person that of the company that is giving the certificate, and then the person applying, the kind of skilled requirements they need to meet to be able to make those applications. So it's always better for people to have an informed background of what they actually want to go and do in the UK, and then look at the laws or get someone to guide them on the necessary laws that applies to what they want to go to migrate to the UK to do. Because the normal mistake everybody does is, oh, I want to go to the UK as a student, and then just apply for student visa once you read the requirements on the internet. It doesn't work that way. It's always better for people to to approach people, professionals rather, that knows the law, and then can apply the rules to whatever area of law you want to, I mean, the rules you want to come into the UK via.
The fear is often that it's going to be too expensive and maybe they won't be able to afford it. How affordable it is to get an immigration attorney?
Well, most immigration attorney or most immigration lawyers have what we call the consultation fee, which is normally about, some people 250, some people £150. And with that £150, you have maybe an hour or 30 minutes of the person's time. They list all the legal requirements. They give you all the legal requirements. They give you what you need, the kind of documents you need to get. Because a lot of people, I think from my own experience of dealing with immigration over the years, one of the key issues I have with people migrating to the UK is the documentation. You can get the information from a lawyer. The lawyer can tell you you need to apply for this, you need to apply for that. But however, there are some key legal requirements and documentations that come with that requirement. If you don't get those documents, you can't get in, or you're not going to get the visa, putting it nicely. For instance, now we have some business immigration rules that requires that you must meet the English language test and the financial rules. So if you don't meet the English language test and the financial rules, or you don't have the necessary documents to prove that English language rule, you can't succeed in that application. I think generally when it comes to immigration, what I tell everybody is that it's better for you to get the information, the right information, then apply the right information. And then the third aspect is to get the right documents. And another major thing that I would like to use this opportunity to tell a lot of people out there is that telling people to get those documents for you in Nigeria actually opens you up to 10-year ban. It's a 10-year ban. And I've got people that have called me initially and said, oh, Mrs. Elabi, I want to apply for a visitor's visa. Can you tell me all the requirements? And I tell them, and I don't hear from them anymore. And then a few weeks later, I get an email from them, or they call me and say, oh, Mr. Elabi, I'm going to send an email to you. Can you just explain what's going on? And then I read the email. Somebody has gone to a friend, they've gone to the bank, paid someone, they've given them a bank statement that does not make any, because the anti-clearance officers now have access to the banks. So they just write it there that we suspect that this is a forgery, and then they ban them for 10 years. So those are the kind of mistakes that people make. And then we have other people that, for instance, you're coming in for a visitor's visa, you don't have any work that you're doing in Nigeria. You don't have a main sponsor that you're saying is sponsoring you. You just come off the street and say, oh, I want to go to England and apply for a visitor's visa. What do you do? What are your ties to your country of origin? So those are the key mistakes a lot of people make.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. So, how many types of business related visa, I mean, visas or, or types of processes for one to be able to migrate to the UK, open your
Well,
business, and still have a pathway to residency or citizenship?
yeah. Well, at the moment, I actually wanted to discuss three because there are quite a few of them. But the main key ones are the skilled worker, the global business mobility route, and the scale up visa. The scale up visa was introduced recently on the 22nd of August, which I think, reading through all the three of them, is the most flexible route at the moment. Even though the global business mobility route actually allows a representative of an overseas business route to bring in somebody temporarily to fill up an expansion of the previous business in Nigeria, to fill up an expansion of that business in the UK. And basically, with that global business mobility route, it enables that business that is already in the UK, I mean, sorry, already established in Nigeria, for instance, to temporarily expand in the UK and then bring up the senior managers and employees, specialist employees, to sort of start the business in the UK as an expansion of the previous, I mean, of the parent business. And that one relates mainly to businesses that are already established in Nigeria that now wants to set up like a branch in the UK. So this global business mobility route allows that kind of business to sort of expand in the UK. And the other one that I talked about, which is called the scale up visa, that was just introduced on the 22nd of August. Looking at that one, I think it's quite a very good and flexible way of coming into the UK. It was opened rather on the 22nd of August 2022. This route is for high growth businesses. When I say high growth businesses, I mean a business that is already established or a startup company. And the criteria to qualify under this to be called a scale up is that the company must have an annual growth of at least 20% in the last 3 years. So if your company has had an annual growth of 20% in the last 3 years, you can apply under this scale up. And the company also must have a minimum of 10 employees. So if you have a business that has 10 employees in the last 3 years and has also had an annual growth of 20%, irrespective of if it's a startup company or a full scale established business, this particular scale up business, I mean, this scale up visa rather, the applicant, I mean, there are two stages to it. We have the sponsored stage of 2 years, and we have the unsponsored stage of 3 years. The good thing about this startups, I mean, scale up company visa is that it leads to indefinite leave to remain, which is most of the other ones, except the skilled worker, do not lead to indefinite leave to remain. And with the scale up visa, you must submit your application with a valid certificate of sponsorship. So, meaning that there must be somebody that would sponsor you, which is a company really, that would sponsor you as an individual to come in through this route. And with this, when you
That
have
the
the sponsor,
owner of the business itself cannot use this.
pardon,
Does this mean the owner of the business himself or herself cannot use this?
they can. the owner of the business would obviously have to apply for that sponsorship. You have to apply to have that certificate to be able to issue it to yourself as part of, yeah, because it will be the company that'll be the sponsor. Do you understand? So then you would obviously apply as one of the people going under that company name. But I'm actually talking about an individual because there are two separate aspects of it. The company can have that certificate and would apply. I mean, the company can be a scale up sponsor, and that company would have to apply to be a scale up sponsor. But I'm not talking about a company that already has a scale up sponsor now applying, I mean, granting. Sorry, I'm talking about an applicant now applying through a company that already has a scale up visa. So that applicant would have that certificate of sponsor from that sponsor company, and then the applicant will be granted an initial 2 years visa. But the flexible part of this visa is that you don't have to work for that company. After
Oh,
6 months, you can be a mobile person and then work for company B instead of company A that you came in through. So that's the flexibility in this part of, in this kind of visa. And I think for looking through all the rules and different aspects of the rules, this I feel is still the most flexible, and it's just been introduced on the 22nd of August this year.
must you be
So,
in the apply for this if you're already in the UK, or you have to be in your original country? Uh,
well, it depends on what you're in the UK for. You know, we have a general rule against switching. So it depends on what you're already in the UK for. If you're already in the UK as a student, obviously you can switch. But if you are in the UK as a visitor, for instance, you would have to go back to your country of origin. Going back to the initial, after granted the initial 2 years, you can work for 6 months for a different employer. I mean, you can work for that employer for 6 months and then move to somebody else. And the good thing about this kind of visa is that even while you're working for employer A that you came in through, you can actually do another work, carry out another work. So you can carry out additional work while on that visa with company A. So you can work for company B as well as company A, even though you came in through company A, which is fantastic. So it gives people the extra income of, if for instance you're earning 30,000 a year, you can earn an extra 5,000 for working with company B. And also, you can also be self-employed after the 6 months. You can be self-employed, or you can also do voluntary work.
but that's after the 2 years.
No, after the 6 months.
After 6 months
After 6 months.
of
So
the initial
the six
years.
months time limit is the flexibility in this kind of visa. It's really, really flexible in terms of after 6 months, you can more or less just do whatever you like. And then after that, you then reapply for the remaining 3 years. And obviously, after 5 years, you apply for indefinite leave to remain. So that's the scale of visa. But for you to qualify for this scale of visa, you must have you must score 50 points on the guidance notes. We have guidance and requirements for each of these applications. These are just bullet points of what you can do. But when it
What
comes to
by
making the proper application,
what do you mean by score 50 points? I don't understand.
you need to for the point based system. The point based system is based on points. For you to qualify for skilled worker or any of this um, um, uh, business migration routes, you must have scored a certain number of points. For this particular one, which is the scale
What
up,
you
you must
for
score 50 points. And how they get about the 50 points is that, for instance, I'm not going into details of the requirements. But if, for instance, English language requirements, it gives you 10 points. If you meet the English language requirements, you get 10 points. That's 10 points qualifying towards your 50. If you get a salary of 33,000, that could be another 10 points. So those are how the points are calculated just like under the other previous immigration rules.
Okay.
And then also with this business migration, you cannot have access to public funds, meaning that you are coming in as somebody that is coming to work in the UK. So you can't access any of the public funds. And then obviously you can also be a dependent to your family members. So that's a nutshell of the
Which
scale up.
of the three allows you access to public funds?
None of them.
None of them.
Most immigration rules, you are public funds, because the reason why you're coming in, I forgot to mention that for the scale up, the general salary, the general salary offer is £33,000, which most businesses with high turnover should be able to achieve anyway. Because if you're coming in, if you're coming in, if your business is coming into another country saying I'm expanding, obviously you must have a high turnover for you to expand in another country. So sponsoring somebody and offering them £33,000, they feel is a reasonable salary. And generally, when it comes to public funds are, even under normal immigration rules in the UK, for people applying as partners, applying as dependent parents and all, there's always a no restriction to, there's always a restriction of no recourse to public funds. So it's not mainly for immigration, business migration that's been restricted. It's a general restriction for immigration.
So these public funds, do you mean credit card, loan,
No, public funds are, for instance,
fund?
you apply for benefits,
Okay.
housing benefits, income support, disability living allowance, everything that comes from the government purse is called public funds.
Okay.
So basically, what it means is when you are migrating to the UK, there's a presumption in law that you're self sufficient. You're only coming to the UK to work. And just like every other place that you work, you're supposed to pay for your own accommodation, pay for everything else. You're coming to work. So they remove any benefits except you coming to contribute to the society. So
Which
that's why they have no recourse, a general no recourse to public funds.
beautiful. Thank you for this, guys. Wherever you're watching from, feel free to type your questions. I can see some of you are watching on YouTube, some of you are watching on Facebook, some of you are watching on LinkedIn. Feel free to type any question that you have, and we proceed from there. Now, my next question is, how much do I need to pay my lawyers if I'm applying for any of this? These are side consultation, right? But aside the initial consultation, which is where I get the breakdown, and what we're doing in this show is we're going to be putting together a group consultation that is going to be paid, and of course, the lawyer has to be paid as well for that one, where you then can break it down. But aside that one, and now I have decided to go for this particular type. What is the cost implication to both what I'm paying my lawyer and both what needs to be paid for this and that?
Um, I, I haven't got the fees for the Home Office on my scale at the moment because I didn't envisage that we'd be talking about the fees. But however, the Home Office fees are in the public domain for every category that you want to apply for, the skilled worker, the business global mobility routes, the scale up. Every fee is actually published on the
You have,
immigration rules website.
you have an idea of the range?
I haven't got the precise fees for this specific routes, and I wouldn't want to give a figure that is not accurate at
Okay.
this
How about
moment.
for the
But like I said, if you go onto the Home Office website, these are listed there.
how about for my legal the immigration lawyer I'm working with? How much will I need to pay for them to help?
Well, it depends on every firm have different fees for the work, and most work depends on the kind of application that is being made. But in this instance, because it's a general business migration, most law firms tend to be around over £1,000 range for any of these applications.
Which is
You're looking at least over 1,000 for the legal fees. And that being the case, because they have to look at the applications, they have to look at your form, they have to ensure the certificate of sponsorship is obtained. I mean, the person that is giving you the certificate of sponsorship visa, I mean, sorry, the person that is granting you the certificate of sponsorship, that's your sponsor, has an A rated status. Because with the certificate of sponsors, the the business migration requires an A-rated person to sponsor you, and for a company to qualify as A-rated, they have their own requirements. So there's a lot of work in the process of actually putting the application through for an applicant. So I am,
there a timeline between when I put it in and when I'll get it?
well, with the Home Office. I think with business migration, they're quite it's quicker than the normal immigration applications we make in house, I mean, in the UK. The ones made from abroad tends to be quicker because the whole idea of them trying to get people into the country to join the workforce. So I don't think it takes that long. And the few that I've known that has been done, I would say within 6 months the applications are done. I mean, it's one of those
So you can
applications that they it sort of accelerate it. It doesn't linger on forever like the normal applications,
mm,
because the Home Office is notorious for delays with applications,
mm,
and it's always better to manage people's expectations when it comes to Home Office.
yeah, yeah, I heard so. I heard.
It is one area of law that I don't mince my words, because I have worked there for 7 years, and trust me, I don't mince my words when I tell people you need
Seven,
to manage expectations.
years. I said
Sorry, I didn't.
17 years and
No,
is it?
I worked with them for 7 years, but I'm actually 21 years post qualified.
Wow. Wait, sorry. Yeah, Odogu then. Because
Pardon?
in Africa, we say you are Odogu. Yeah, you
I
know,
mean, it's just an area of law that is changing, that changes rapidly.
yeah.
So it's a bit of a lot of work for practitioners in this area to catch up with. We're constantly having um to read up on the laws. For instance, the scale up visa started 22 of August. So you have to constantly be on top of it. And most people, I say to them, when you're giving advice on immigration law, I always tell my clients, give me time to read up the current version of the law, because it changes every minute. So that's the danger that people have in going online and reading about it, because the information you're holding on to or you just read could have been put there 3, 5, 6 years ago. And when you make your application with that, you would fail because that's not the updated version.
Wow. So, this is the area I normally help people.
Pardon?
I say, even though this is an area I normally help to coach people in. But I want to sample your opinion for somebody who is successful in Nigeria doing whatever business and is thinking of expanding here. What are the sectors that you think the UK is there are more opportunities for investment?
The line is coming in and out.
Can you hear me now?
You'd have to repeat that. The line was in. It was breaking in and out.
I think it's your there's some sound, or is it that music?
I can hear you. I can hear you quite all right. But sometimes the rain affects the broadband in my area. Sometimes it even comes out completely. It comes off completely and then reboots itself.
Yeah, okay, it's better now.
It's a BT issue on my the road.
Okay, I see. So my question: what sector will you advise an investor who is migrating their business to the UK? Recently, for a conference, we have a fashion designer who migrated from the US down to the UK. What are sectors that you think the UK is open to that? Oh, you do well if you come into the UK.
Generally, I must admit that the UK in the last since April, I've actually opened up the UK for almost every kind of business. And because at the moment, it's even in the news every time that we have we have shortage of workers. So basically, for instance, we have the carers coming in en masse. So basically, if you can if your business meets any of the requirements of the general, there's a massive how would I put it? There's a massive recruitment of people from abroad. That's number one. And also they've included business as well. That's why we have the global business mobility route, so that businesses can actually come into the UK.
Yeah.
So I feel that for instance, for businesses coming into the UK, I mean for somebody that wants to come and set up their business, or a business that's already been set up in maybe Nigeria, they want to come into the UK market to take advantage of the drive to bring business into the country. The global business mobility route is the best for now,
Mm,
because with that there are less stringent requirements, and that started 11 of April 2022.
mm,
So basically, with that, you can bring a subsidiary of your business into the UK. The only thing you need to establish is the fact that that business was already established wherever it was coming from. And then you also need to meet the requirements. Your business needs to meet the requirements of the rules for businesses generally that qualify under that. And I don't think I haven't got the point based, I mean, the bullet point of every single requirement the business needs. It's something that if anybody wants at some point I can make available. But with that kind of with that route, you can bring you can people that want to start up business. I mean, that have businesses that are already established in the country they're coming from can come into the UK with that. And because it doesn't lead to settlement, you would need to then switch over to skilled worker at some point. But what I can say is that from this year, April, UK has opened its doors to businesses and people. And it's not only focused at people, it's focused on business as well. That's why they have the global business mobility route, meaning that, let's say, a company called Washerman Limited in Nigeria has been in Nigeria for 10 years and now decides to come to the UK and be Washerman UK Limited, which is going to people's houses, collecting their clothes, washing it for them, and then ironing it and sending it back by maybe they have a van to do all the deliveries to all the homes in the UK. So something like that you could bring it into the UK for as little as
Yeah, I can,
your business meets the requirements for businesses under that they want to admit on under the rules, under that particular route, then they'll qualify. Because I think the government now really needs a lot of businesses in to get the capital, I mean, to get the economy moving rather. And also, they also need people to come in to fill the vacancies in the market. I think what people need to do is to go on to the website, I mean, to the Home Office website when they're less busy and look at what we call the shortage employment. When you look at the shortage employment, they tell you all the kind of occupation that we have shortage of them in the UK. So once you look at it, maybe it's a chef, maybe it's a carers, and then the next thing you look at is what are the legal requirements? What kind of qualification do I need to come into this country as a chef, for instance? I need to have cooked at a hotel for 10 years. I need to be able to earn £15,000. Then the next stage is I need to look for somebody, to a company, to sponsor me as a chef to come in, because the companies, as we speak, would qualify to bring you in because it's already under the shortage employment. So if I have a company now and the kind of people I'm looking for fall under the shortage employment, I already prima facie have the leeway to bring people in. So if Mr. X comes to me and he meets the requirement of that shortage employment and all his papers are in order, he would be able to obtain the visa through my company to come into the UK because I would have the certificate of sponsorship to sponsor him. Once I meet the requirements of the rules, Mr. A2 will meet the requirements of the rules because it's coming to me. I'm the sponsor. So basically, what I would advise everybody to do is to go on what we call the shortage of employment list and look at all the kind of employment that are in shortage in the UK. And then they can come in through that. And for businesses generally, the easiest one now is the global business mobility route. It allows a business that is already established in the country of origin to expand into the UK. And because it's an expansion, the requirements are not as stringent as you setting up a business from the scratch. So you're actually leveraging on whatever the company had in your country of origin to bring to the UK. So all the company needs to satisfy the rules is that it's been in existence before. This is an expansion of the previous company, of the existing company, and the person coming in is a specialist in whatever that we're going to do. And that's what it is.
fantastic. I have just two more questions. How you get back to work? Why do I? There's a screechy sound. I don't.
I think it's my phone. Next time, I think I'd have to log in through the computer.
Yeah, there's a. So I know
I don't know.
of
And the
that
area of my office, I must
thing.
apologize to the audience. The area of this office, the once water gets into the box, the BT box, all the lines on the streets have problems. In fact, BT was still here yesterday repairing the line. If it was yesterday, I would not have been able to hold this because the lines were water got into the line. We do have problems in the UK as well, trust me.
But I'm not even sure it's your network. I think it's the earpiece. I'm sure
No, I put it on speaker.
you put it on speaker. Okay, that's. But we're gonna go. So, Jamie, if you can help me scroll for those who want to book for group consultation, you can scroll the URL that we have. So, what we are trying to do, guys, if you can get a group of 10, 20, book a general, longer consultation with Mrs. Yetunde and myself. For me, I'm just going to focus on coaching you on business opportunities that are good for you. in the UK, while she focused on the immigration part, right? And we can see how the other groups are. If you are not interested, then of course go further with Mrs. Yesterday to help you with the entire application. But the first thing is the group consultation that you can book. So a URL will be scrolled and you can fill your information there, and our team will get back. My final question will be for people who two questions. What somebody's asking here said, those visa type, do they allow you to bring your spouse? Can you
Yeah,
come to okay?
you can
Then,
sponsor your dependents
okay,
with
so
the business with the global business mobility rules. You can bring your family members.
okay, beautiful. Um, my final question would be for for at least the cases you've handled. Are there any and this is a major issue for a lot of our people. Is there any way this differs? For example, if I'm because there are Africans who are watching this from the US or from Canada or from Dubai and are looking at doing this. Is it the same procedure compared to if I'm trying to do this from Nigeria?
I don't think there's any discrimination in your location or where you're coming from. There are quite a few people that have migrated from Nigeria to the UK, and businesses also that have migrated from Nigeria to the UK. The only thing I would tell you, and I'll use this opportunity once again to say to people coming from Nigeria, when you're migrating to another country, I don't want to generalize, but I have enough experience to say that a lot of people try to do what we call cut corners. And a lot of people try to play the system by playing the fast one. And I feel that if you have a genuine business, and no matter how small, because for instance, now the scale up visa example allows startup business. And there can be genuine startup businesses that comes from Nigeria that are startup, and they can still make the annual turnover. For instance, I'll give you a classical example. Our Nigerian food is well eaten in the UK. A lot of people still want to eat. If somebody, for instance, comes into the UK and says, I want to sell only amala, and then you now have this amala joint in Surulere that over the years has made so much money, and your bank statements and the business models shows that you are successful. Everybody in Nigeria knows you. I'll use my local one in Surulere called the Olaya. Olaya, Mrs. Olaya wants to relocate to the UK. She has an established business model. She has she has branches in Surulere. She has a branch in Lekki. She's doing very well. Everybody knows her. She wants to migrate to the UK as a business or expand Olaya business in UK. All she needs to do is produce her bank statement, look at the requirements of the rules, provide evidence to show that our annual turnover meets the requirements of the rules. And then she can sponsor Miss X to start up one in Peckham, where Nigerians are based. And then in your application, you are saying, this is where I am in Surulere. These are the kind of customers I've had in the last 20 years in Surulere. And now there's a demand for Amala in London. And I want to set it up in Peckham and Acne and where the Nigerians are based, and one in Dagenham. So, with that, for instance, you don't need to manipulate the system. You don't need to put a bank statement that is forged. You also don't need to lie about the business. All you need to do is just put in the right paperwork, make your applications, and most of the time you will make the requirements of the rules and you'll be granted. The mindset of thinking, oh, we're coming from Nigeria, this thing is not going to happen. So as a result of that, people go to their bank manager and inflate their bank accounts. And then by the time the Home Office writes to the bank manager is not on seat and they're given the right figure, and then you're banned for 10 years. We should just have that mindset. I'll tell you, as an immigration solicitor in the UK at the moment, from April this year till now, there have been various changes in the rules to actually grant leave to people to come into the UK to do business and to work for other people. So if you know there's a general drive, then what you need to do is to ask yourself, how do I fit into the criteria of this general drive? Everything in the UK laws is based on criteria. Once you meet the criteria, for instance, your husband lives in the UK, you want to join him in the UK, you have the 18,600 that you're supposed to have as income, you have accommodation in the UK, your husband is working, and he can maintain you without recourse to public funds, why would your application be refused? No basis for it. So I don't think there's any discrimination. I think once your paperwork is right, your business meets the requirements of rules. I think the homework everybody needs to do is to go and start businesses, or the ones that are already in existence. Look at their paperwork and see how they can fit into the requirements of the rules. Because it's not only the setup businesses that they want, they are indigenous businesses that meet certain requirements of Nigerians, for instance, that people would patronize. That's the classical case of the Amala, whatever. So that's how I feel about it. If you meet the requirements of the rules, you will get the visa.
Fantastic. I really wish we can continue, but we have to all go. So, Oluwakeme Deborah, that question has been answered. That yes, you can sponsor your family with those type of visa as well. Okay, so that question has been answered. But thank you so much, Mrs. Yetunde Alabi, for coming today and sharing. For those of you who join us late, you can go watch it all over again on YouTube. Dr. S. Akintayo. One of the reasons why I decided to do this is I just realized that I've seen too many people doing very well in Africa, and then they, for whatever reason, choose to relocate. And rather than, get a business visa, they then come back, start Uber, start life all over again, try to become a nurse, because that's the information people told them, that if they don't go through that route, they will never become a citizen. So this was part of why I said, we need to start changing our people mindset. I,
Yeah.
I have business in different parts of the world. I didn't have to come here and become a second class citizen, right? Just because I'm trying to expand internationally. So, how do we do things right? And that's why we've put together a consultation program where I will be sharing with you the aspects as to opportunities here, in terms of as an entrepreneur, what are the business opportunities here that you can do? And then the legal people then tell you what these are the requirements, and then when you realize that you can meet the requirement, you can then follow up directly with a legal person to help you put it together. And it's important to value doing it right. All this I can do on my own. I can go to home office and read the thing. I don't need anybody. It has landed people into so much issues. Penny wise, pound foolish. You have people giving you wrong information, wrong counseling, and you just take it up based on what you've heard. At the end of the day, it hurts you. So it costs you nothing, like she said at the beginning, to pay £200 and just get the guidance. It doesn't mean they will apply for you. It just mean they will tell you what are the requirements. What do you need? In my case, I will tell you this type of business can work, this type can work. This is how you can set up. For many of you who are into the real estate sector, the opportunity is endless here. I mean, literally, in this part of the world, real estate is so sweet compared to in Africa. Everything has to be cashed down. In this part of the world, you just take advantage of the credit system. Right? There's a HMO. I mean, there's what do they call it now? There's there's a word you guys use for your mortgage here, right? There's mortgage. There's bridging loan. So all these things we don't have as in Nigeria, right? If you want to do real estate in those parts of the world, you want your money cash, right? So so you can literally expand, you can expand it, but it's important to value the place of counseling and coaching and sitting down with people to say this is the requirements, this is the processes, and then take it up. One more time, I want to thank you for taking your time to be part of this session. I hope to see you on Saturday with your son. I look forward to I really look forward to seeing him. So, guys, we're done with today's show. We'll scroll down the go register for the consultation session. Feel free to go for that. Any final word from your end?
From me?
Yes, final word.
Yeah, I forgot to actually mention the fact that the business, the global business mobility rules allow the business to sponsor up to 5 expansion workers. So if you
Wow.
have an established business, you can sponsor up to 5 people and their family on that route to come in. So that's why I said that knowledge is power. And also another important thing is that you mentioned earlier on that people should come in and do what they would love to do, not change employment, I mean change career completely. And I am with you on that point because, for instance, I'm a solicitor. We have what we call the foreign lawyers. As a qualified lawyer in Nigeria, you can actually join a law firm in the UK as a foreign lawyer.
Wow. Wow.
You can join as a foreign lawyer, and then you'll be allowed to work as a lawyer.
Really? I did.
Even though for you to actually practice in some areas of law, you will need to do the bar exam, I mean, do the qualified solicitors exams. But you can actually work in the legal profession as a foreign lawyer. So,
Wow.
I mean, just to buttress what you're saying, it's that's why I said it's always important for you to actually sit down and study. I mean, study what you want to go and do. Do your in-depth research before you jump into it, because it's a change of environment. It's a change of from one country to the other. I don't think some people even sell their houses, they sell their cars to come
Yeah.
over here.
And
So
they
if
did
you're going to
any
go,
like
give up
opportunity.
everything,
Yes.
then you might as well come in and say to yourself that I need the right information before I take this step. Because if you take the wrong step and you're banned for 10 years, that's the end of it. For the next 10 years, there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean,
So
you're
that's
very.
why it's important for you to get it right.
Yeah. I mean, somebody is asking me this question on Facebook. Says, can someone invest in GTEx and get sponsorship for his business? You don't need that. You just book a consultation session. You don't need you can qualify on your own. Just book a consultation session, right? And that consultation session, unlike this, you know, you can, she can ask you questions. I can ask you about your own particular situation, and because it's just going to be a consultation, 10 people, average of 10, right? And then you can then look at, okay, this is the best route for you. This is the best route for you. She will do that part for the
Yeah.
legal. I will do the part of what type of business I think is the best based on your background, where you're coming from. So you don't need to say, I want to come and invest with GTEC. Maybe GTEC will sponsor me. You can sponsor your own self. Many of you, and that's the funny thing, I realize a lot of entrepreneurs in Nigeria are most likely qualified for this thing. Like,
Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs are qualified for it. A lot
I'm
of
a
entrepreneurs.
qualifies. But you see,
A
when
lot
you
of a lot a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of creative people are actually qualified for most of these business immigration rules.
so you are Vic, It's a chuku. It's being scrolled on the. I don't know whether I make the scrolling big. Scrolling is too small. URL is there. This is what they say how to register for consultation, right? Right. You see, pick your details profile slash business dash migration dash consultation. You can, but IT, I don't know URL that are this complicated. What is the last have URL that is easy and just um, post it in each of those platforms. URL is just complicated, but the URL is being posted, or just send a mail. Okay, send a mail. Product as the product as an S, or just DM on Instagram, right? DM on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Dr. S Akintayo, and my office people will respond to you. Dr. S Akintayo. Okay, Dr. S Akintayo. Okay. Can we attend the event without booking? I don't understand what you mean by attend the event without booking.
I think what it means is that is it can they do they have to have a booking before they can join the event? I think the event is free.
Which event
Well,
referring
each
to?
which event, that's true.
We don't know which event is referring to.
Maybe he's talking about the bulk
If it's
consultation.
migration consultation, it cannot be free because as much as this one we're doing is here today is free, the consultation we have to pay her for that, right? Because it's a professional work and she will have to put in hours, right, to consult for you and guide you on how to go about it. So this version is free. She attended, she spoke for free, but the consultation one can be free. We have to pay as well, right? Because it's now going into detail and trying to, you know, look at each person case by case, right? To make it worthwhile is also why we say we make it group of 10, right? So that it's then worthwhile for everybody. It's, if she's getting £1,000 from that for that 10 people, it's what time she's put. So it's not free, but you can go and register or send DM and they can do the process. I think it's $200 or something. I'm not sure how much it is. Or you can send a mail and the team. Okay. Thank you everybody for being part of today's webinar. I have to release that. I also have another meeting to catch up with. Thank you, Mr. Yetunde, for coming. See you on Saturday.
It's a pleasure, Sam. It's
And
always a pleasure to be at your
I
service.
hope your colleagues have gotten their tickets and are coming on
Pardon?
Saturday. I hope your friends that you're inviting on Saturday have gotten their tickets.
I'm not sure if they've done it, but I think I've gotten mine.
Follow up with them because that code I'm not sure will work after today. So follow up with
Yeah, I will. I will. But thank you
them.
so much. It's a great honor for to be here with you. You're doing a fantastic job, and it's really wonderful. The people that are watching are lucky that somebody cares about them and to give them an opportunity to get it right. Thank you so much. It's a great honor anytime.
Thank
I'm
you so
happy
much.
to assist with it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Mm.
So, guys, thank you for watching. God bless you. Gotta go. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.